All right, we are back with another Pick'em video. It is Saturday, February 7th in the NBA. We're coming off a winning day, which we love to see, actually back-to-back winning days. So go ahead and smash the like button, comment something down below, give us some good luck for today's slate. And it's a pretty big one. Some games are a little bit earlier, so filming this much earlier than I typically do, just to give you guys more time. And in this video, I'm also going to talk about all of the games, touch on all of them, give you guys any sort of injury news, teams on a back-to-back, just give you guys the tools to, approach the games in the correct way and hopefully have success on the day. But first things first, going to go into the recap of yesterday's video picks, then we'll talk my favorite picks for the day, and then we'll talk about the entire slate if you guys want to stick around for that. So jumping into the recap of yesterday's video picks, we talked about 3 plays. It was a smaller slate, bunch of weird stuff happening with the trade deadline and the All-Star break kind of looming here. But we did go up 0.74 units, 2 in one day. Guys that came through for us, Kawhi Leonard dominated this line. He was the focal point of that offense for the Clippers to get them a win over the Kings. The starters for the Kings, oh my God, they played so bad. If you just faded, what's his name, Zach LaVine, the past 2 weeks, you'd probably be a millionaire. He has been horrendous. I don't know what the Kings team is just so bad. Even though they got some big names, just a horrible team altogether. They made Andrew Nembhard over his 25.5 points and assists. He also went over that line very easily. He had 30 points and assists, chipped in with 8 assists, 22 points total. So he got it done against the Bucks. And then Derek White was our only loss here. Celtics come back down 22 in that game to win it by 2 points. Against the Heat, Vucevic made his debut, had a double-double in his debut. Celtics fans, I'm a Celtics fan, definitely happy about that. And Derek White played 41 minutes in that game, was super involved in everything, had 20 shot attempts, could not put the ball in the basket. I don't know how many points he had actually. I think he had 21 points, but shot 6 of 20 from the field, but didn't get to the rebounds and assists. He had 8 rebounds and assists, and of course, just didn't get there for us. I didn't see any sort of rebound chances or potential assists. I couldn't find the numbers just yet for those games, but long story short, he didn't get there at the end of the day. But we'll take the 0.74 units of profit and try to get 3 days in a row here. It's a tiny little profit, but we'll take a green day any day of the week. So let's hop on the first play of the video, and that starts with Props Madness. So over on Props Madness, we're going to be looking at Jabari Smith Jr.'s points line. And by the way, if you want to check out Props Madness, I do have a discount code. It's not in the link in the description down below. I'm trying something new because the algorithm has not been kind to me. I'm trying to take away all my affiliate links, and hopefully YouTube will start pushing my videos once again. But if you're new around here, I have been doing this for 2+ years. I have over 16,000 subscribers. I know there's a lot of people that still come for these videos, but not as many as I used to get. And these guys are used to me talking about this. So you'll see them hopefully advocating for me in the comment section. But if you're new around here, let me know in the comments, hey, you're new, and stick around. We do a fun show, and we're pretty good at this over the last 2 years. And hopefully you guys enjoy the content here. But Props Madness, freaking awesome. Let me know in the comments down below if you do want a discount code, 25% off your first month. We're going to start with Jabari Smith Jr. here. 13.5 points is the line. Now, I did get this at 12.5 for -120. I might play it again at, a DraftKings -109 for the 13.5. 50% hit rate over the last 20 games, but I love his matchup today against the Oklahoma City Thunder without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, by the way. The Houston Rockets still 4-point underdogs without Shai, but hopefully, this one has less of a blow-up potential. We can get nice, close game, and Jabari's going to get his 33+ minutes in this thing. But let's take a look at the catch-and-shoot spot-up opportunities. First of all, the last 12 players that play similarly to a guy like Jabari Smith Jr., big guys, stretch fours that can shoot the ball, put the ball in the basket, guys like Lauri Markkanen, who had a 29-point game against these guys. I like to see 58% of those guys going over their lines. You could also just look positionally, and 53% of the guys are over their lines too. And a lot of these guys relatively recently as the Thunder have been dealing with injuries. But I'm really honing in on this spot-up opportunities. He can knock down some threes. He can get some quarter action. He gets 20% of his shots from the corners. They're very weak there. And how the Thunder play defense without Shai, with Shai, doesn't matter. Their defensive scheme is really the focal point of the defense is to stop those high usage players, guys that are in the pick and roll ball handling. They are really good at defending the pick and roll big man as well. And that's why they have a really good paint defense. They're going to guys like James Harden, guys like Jaylen Brown, guys that work in that pick and roll ball handling. They're really focusing in on those guys and making them pass up the ball to open 3-point shooters, open spot up shooters in the mid-range opportunities. And that's why we see a lot of good players go under against the Thunder. And you can see some of these other guys shine in opportunities like this. That's why Jabari Smith Jr. himself has a 16 and a 17-point game against these guys. They lost one of these games by 20, and he still shot 15 times, knocked down 3 threes, got to the free throw line a little bit, and that's how he got to these points. So I'm thinking this line's a little bit too low. The other thing here is there's going to be no Steven Adams. The hit rate goes up without Steven Adams, 18 games without Steven Adams, averaging around 14 points a game and over in 55% of games. But the biggest thing here, I'll show you right now, is going to be the spot up. In favorable matchups where Jabari Smith Jr. can get some spot up actions, can get to the, spot up's huge for above the break threes. It's even bigger for corner threes. And he's a kind of a corner three specialist. Again, 20% of those shots come from there. In these spot up opportunities, these favorable spot up opportunities, he was over this line in 82% of games. And that, of course, includes the 2 games against the Thunder. And the games he's not getting there, 12, 12, and 11 points there. So the volume goes up. He's averaging 17.1 points in these types of matchups, in these defensive schemes that he's going up against. And he got some injuries to Steven Adams. He's seeing a ton of minutes now in these games. So hopefully no blowout. Again, the Thunder's defense going to struggle a little bit more without a guy like Shea on the court. And hopefully that in turn turns to Jabari Smith Jr. getting a lot of open threes, getting a lot of open things in the mid-range. And they do have a very good interior defense, but he can do some damage at the rim. It's not like they don't allow no points at the rim. They just allow less than most people. So loving Jabari Smith Jr. in this matchup. Again, you think you could ladder this up to like 15 plus points, but I'll take the normal line at 12.5. Now it's at 13.5 for minus 109. I still really like it here. So loving Jabari. Hopefully get some open shots. You could look at the threes. I want to point that out. It's hella juiced, minus 192. If you want to look at that as a parlay piece, I think that's a great opportunity too. But the hit rate on the points is better, and it's a better price. So loving Jabari Smith Jr., 13.5 points, minus 109 for the first play. And then building on that Jabari Smith Jr. play we just talked about all about the Thunder's defensive scheme and everything. There's no Shea, there's no J-Dub. I'm going to take the Houston Rockets on the money line. Plus 146 price tag on Rebet, which is available to me. I think that's too good to pass up on. Let's talk about that Thunder defense again. They have a weak spot in their defense. They allow a whole lot of spot-up opportunities. Jabari Smith Jr. can beat him that way, but guys like Tar Eason can do that. Guys like Reed Shepherd can get hot. So they got a lot of offensive weapons that can be in that spot-up opportunity and get a lot of buckets in there. Then they got Amin Thompson, who would be in that pick-and-roll ball handling, the high-usage player that they're going to collapse on. And Amin Thompson can influence the game without scoring the ball. He can rebound well. He can distribute the ball. He can be a defensive menace. They got Kevin Durant here, who's doesn't matter what defense you see. It's Kevin Durant. He's been doing this for 20 years. He can score on anyone. And then you got Sengun, the big guy, down low to do whatever he needs to do. He can distribute the ball. He can get some buckets at the paint. Again, they're a good defensive paint pressure. Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren for sure. Tag team duo down there. But there's still going to be points available in there. And if these spot up shooters getting wide open shot after wide open shot, they can absolutely do some damage. So them being underdogs with Shea and with J-Dub out doesn't seem right to me. So I'm attacking the Houston Rockets money line. Obviously, the Thunder could win this game. They are at home. They still got a bunch of good team defenses, defensive players. They got some good offense. They could win this thing, but being underdogs for the Houston Rockets here doesn't make sense to me. The last thing I'll point to, Houston Rockets have lost 2 games in a row. I think this is a bounce back spot, if anything. They've also lost 2 games to the Thunder. Now, Shea played both those games, but they lost 2 games to the Thunder. It's hard to beat a team anyway 3 times in a row, and I don't see it happening. The Rockets, I don't think are going to lose 3 games in a row. I don't think they're going to lose 3 games in a row to the Thunder here, and without their best guys, I just see no reason not to go to the Houston Rockets here on the money line, or again, be a little bit more conservative and go to the spread. Jumping into the next play, I like Michael Never Pass the Rock Porter Jr., and he doesn't need to pass the rock today because I'm going to his 25.5 points, minus 102 on FanDuel right now, and I'm absolutely loving this matchup. It's against the Wizards. We know the Wizards are bad at everything. I don't have to be a rocket scientist to tell you that. But how does Michael Porter Jr. score his points? 30% come right at the rim. Spot up opportunities, handoff, transition. Whatever you look at for the way Michael Porter Jr. scores, it's a pretty dang good matchup for Michael Porter to do some damage today. Within 10 feet, catch and shoot, whatever it might be. The only thing, pull up, they do defend pretty well. But he's already played these guys this year, and he had 34 points in that game. He only had 3 threes, which initially I was looking at as threes, but I'll just take the 25.5 points. The next thing I'll point to is the pace of this game. They rank 6th. The Washington Wizards give up a lot of points because they play with a lot of pace, but because they also have a horrible defense. It's a pretty good recipe for a lot of points to be put on the board. But how about favorable pace teams in the top 10 pace? Michael Porter Jr. is over this in every single game, 10 out of 10 games with high pace, high scoring. He's going to be over his line. He's going to put the ball in the basket here. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. Going over to their team, they have no injury news. But one thing to note is Cam Thomas is not on this team anymore. Have been getting limited minutes here. They've been going a little bit younger, but they did keep Michael Porter Jr. through the deadline. And I don't expect him to lose minutes here. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because after the trade deadline. Now they decide, okay, we're going to keep Michael Porter Jr. Do some things change? Do they go younger? Do they play Michael Porter Jr. less? Do they start spreading the minutes throughout the team like the Utah Jazz have started to do? That's the only thing I'm a little bit hesitant on here, but I think all signs kind of point towards Michael Porter Jr. having a great game. Messing around with other filters other than just pace, we can look at how about dominant scoring zone within the restricted area. We can go to favorable matchups here, over in 71% of games. How about looking at splits here in games they've won this season, over in 83% of games. They are 4.5-point favorites here at home as well. If you want to look at home games, I'll take away the wins. Home games, he's going to get around a 1-point boost here in home games, scoring a little bit more. So really, really liking this spot against a very weak defense with the Wizards. Play with a lot of pace. Michael Porter Jr. should get the shots up. Just got to knock them down. The volume should be there. Unless, again, I'm missing something and they're going to start pulling a Utah Jazz and the Nets are going to stop playing these guys much. But the last game, 32 minutes. He's been getting right around the normal time and just got to put the ball in the basket. Great matchup to do so. So those are the earlier games, but if you came here a little bit later in the day and you have some action on some other games, I like Donovan Clingan. This game's not till, I think it's like the latest game, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And he did just play this Grizzlies team. They're on a back-to-back, the Trailblazers are. And I'm still liking it because back-to-back sets, you might think the big fella doesn't play as much, gets played off the floor a little bit. They're a little bit, conservative with them. That's not it at all. Back-to-back sets, Donovan Clingan absolutely crushing this line, averaging 15 points and 15 rebounds in that time. 24.5 points and rebounds is the line right now. And he's going against the same team he just played yesterday. Now I'm filming this at 2 a.m. just because there is some earlier games. I want to get it out to you guys. Oh, it just popped up. So it just populated. He had a great game against this team. Now, a couple things to point to. Ty Jerome did not play yesterday. I don't think Santi Aldama did either. Santi Aldama, probably the biggest guy the Memphis Grizzlies have right now. He's 6'11", but he's a skinny 6'11". I don't know what he weighs. I guess we could check right now. He weighs 215 pounds at 6'11", while where Donovan Clingan is 7'2" and weighs 280 pounds. So he's going to be an absolute monster on the court. Ty Jerome might up the pace a little bit, but Clingan has proven that he can still stay on the court, averages around 28 minutes per game in those top 10 pace defenses, or not defenses, top 10 pace teams. So Clingan should get the time on the court. Again, back-to-back sets don't scare me. He crushes this line back-to-back sets. Whatever you want to read into that, that's a good sign. And he actually plays a little bit more time as well. So I'm not worried about the back-to-back set. This is a mass play, if you want to call it that. 280 pounds, 7'2". They don't have anyone even close to his size. Gigi Jackson, he's 6'9". A couple guys might come off the bench for this team that are newer to the squad, but they don't have Zach Edey. They don't have Jaren Jackson Jr. Clingan should absolutely go out there and rebound like a machine and score like a machine, if he has to. Only played 25 minutes yesterday, by the way, because it was such a blowout, 20-point blowout. And again, 13 points, 6 of 10 shooting, great efficiency, great volume, and then 17 boards in that thing. So this is a mass play if I've ever seen one before. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Go right back to it. Back-to-back set, killing it. I don't have anything else to say. It's a perfect matchup for him to do it. The biggest guy out there. I like it. 24.5 points and rebounds. Next play I'm liking is going to be Nikola Jokic to get some rebounds and to get some assists. 19.5 minus 125. Now he is questionable because he played 45 minutes in their last game against the Knicks. They lost that game. They've lost 3 straight games since Jokic came back, by the way. So this is a game I expect him to play, especially considering he's had an extra day rest here. Haven't played since the 4th. So he is questionable. If he doesn't play, it doesn't hurt us. But if he does play, I'm liking this line. I'm liking this value. Minus 125. Kind of juicy, not too crazy. And I think he'd absolutely go out there and dime up and get a whole bunch of rebounds. Now let's talk about it. Assists, 30th ranked in terms of getting assists right at the rim. Jokic is an absolute mastermind in terms of getting guys right at the rim. 47% of his assists come right from there. They also give up a decent amount of above the break threes as well, assisted there, 23rd rank. He gets 25% of his assists there. Now, positional players, are they getting the rebounds assist line against this team? No, they haven't been, but at the same time, I think Jokic can absolutely dominate in this position. We go over to the Bulls team. They got Jalen Smith down there, and he is questionable right now. He might not even play. He's their biggest guy out there. Nikola Jokic has an absolute monster size advantage over him. And then guys like Zach Collins out, Josh Giddey out. This is the whole different look team, so we might not see the most flourishing offense over here for Chicago, which just means more opportunities to take advantage of them defensively, but also potentially more misses for Chicago at the same time, which could be more easy defensive rebounds. Now, he has played this team once. It doesn't really matter at this point because the Bulls have got like 8 new players since the trade deadline, but he had 31 rebounds and assists against this team, so it's a pretty good sample size. No Vucevic in town to size up against him anymore. Jalen Smith is even questionable right now, so they don't have the size right now, and Jokic, I think, could eat in that much time, and they need a win under their belt. They've lost 3 straight, which is why I think Jokic does play. If he doesn't play, again, doesn't hurt us, but perfect spot for him to get some assists. And then looking at the rebound matchup, we just saw Bam get 11 against this team. We can just look positionally. Miles Turner, I would not consider him an amazing rebounder at all, but I like to see that Bam got rebounds against this team. Jokic is coming off a 14 and 15 rebound game in much harder instances. So they need to will his team to a victory. I know he's hurt. He's coming off that injury that he dealt with that kept him out for a while. But I think he goes out there and plays, and I think he dominates in a matchup like this. So give me some rebounds and assists. I think he could sprinkle something on his triple-double, but I'm just going to go for the video picks, rebounds, assists, and 19.5. And before I move on from Jokic, I didn't mess around with the filters, so let's get a little fancy with it. Dominant assist zone, you're going to give him assists right at the paint. They rank 30th there. About 88.9% of games he's going over this. Going to be a good pace matchup for him to get some assists, get some rebounds in those. Favorable matchup here over at 84.6% of games. Now, this might be a lower line because they're thinking he plays less minutes, and that could be true, but he played 33 minutes against the Pistons. He just played 45 minutes in I think it might have been a double overtime game against the, it was at least an overtime game against the Knicks. So I don't think they're too scared of, getting him out there and playing once again. He seems relatively healthy. He did turn his ankle a little bit in one of those games, but seemed to return and be okay. But again, I don't care if he doesn't play. It doesn't hurt us if he doesn't play. If he does go out there, I expect the normal amount of time, and it's a perfect matchup. Pace, sure, absolutely dominating. Dominant assist zone, absolutely great. Give up a lot of assists, 90% hit rate. So I'm loving this spot. You could look at the triple-double. I guess I might as well just look at what the triple-double is while I'm at it. Triple-double plus 195, pretty dang good value too if you want to mess around with that. So we're going to jump into the recap in just a second here, but I got to shout out Pickett. If you're not on Pickett, it's a free bet tracker for you guys to use. It's on the app stores. I would have a link in the description down below, but again, I'm trying no links in the description for a little bit to see if YouTube starts pushing my videos out a little bit more. But Pickett, bet tracker, free for you guys to use. Sign up using my code RichPicks. It's in the App Store. You get $3 or $100 just by syncing your first sports book, and that's what Pickett's so great. You just sync your sports books, whatever you're on, PrizePicks, Underdog, Fantasy, FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever you're on. You sync it. It's seamless. You get to see if you're winning or losing over the course of days, weeks, months, years, all time, and that's stuff you want to know. So sign up for Pickett. Use code RichPicks. So it's recap time, and I got 5 units down on this slate so far. Maybe that's crazy just because there's a little bit of uncertainty in the NBA as we get, post-trade deadline and now all-star break kind of looming here. But Jabari Smith Jr. over his 13.5 points. I actually got this at 12.5, but I saw it move to 13.5. That's where you guys will mostly see it. So I'll do it at 13.5, minus 109 DraftKings, 1 unit play there. I got the Houston Rockets on the money line. This is a 3/4 unit play, but plus 146 against the Thunder. Coming off 2 straight losses. They've also lost 2 straight to the Thunder, but the Thunder don't have Shea or J-Dub. I'm liking the spot for the Rockets. MPJ over his 25.5 points, minus 102 on FanDuel. Should have the volume. Hopefully sees the time. He's got a great matchup to do so. Score some points, knock down some shots. Donovan Clingan, he's played yesterday. He's great in back-to-backs. Points and rebounds over 24.5, minus 108. The biggest guy in the court by far going against the Grizzlies. Nikola Jokic, rebounds and assists over his 19.5, minus 125. Full unit play, and I couldn't help myself. I'm doing the triple-double at 0.25 units. Hopefully he goes out there and plays. Hopefully there's no limits restriction for him coming off that 45-minute game. I don't assume there to be, but he could, I think, absolutely crush this matchup against Jalen Smith, who might not even play. He's going to be the biggest guy in the court, and he's, abused this team last time, 31 rebounds and assists, and he did have a triple-double in that thing against those guys. So I am liking Jokic as well to finish it up. But I'm not done just yet. I want to remind everyone, if you got to this point in the video, go ahead and leave it a like, comment something down below to push this video out a little bit more. Subscribe if you are new, of course, and let me know in the comments if you are new. But we're going to run through each and every game real quick. I'm not going to go over the projected minutes just because I don't have them yet. I'm recording this very early on in the day, and the projected minutes are not out. But I can mention some thoughts that I have, some leans I have in some games, and some sort of injury news, any sort of trade things that have come about the past few days. So that's what we're going to do. Let's hop into the slate, kind of the breakdown, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we got a big slate and a whole bunch of uncertainties. So let's start with the Washington Wizards and the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, we are betting in Michael Porter Jr. in this game. No injury news for the Brooklyn Nets as of right now, but Cam Thomas was waived by this team. He will not be around. The Washington Wizards, on the other hand, ton of injury news. AD shut down for the season. We didn't expect him to play anyway. Trae Young still not playing. I doubt we see him this season too. Alex Sarr is a big question mark, so he's a big, defensive player, offensive player for this team, the best player on this team. Keyshawn George, another guy that's questionable. So a lot of guys in the Wizards. I don't know how to read this team anyway, even when they're fully healthy sometimes. They split a lot of minutes, and now we could see a bunch of time for the question marks, see guys coming off the bench. It's going to be a tough one. 4.5-point spread. I'd much rather look at Brooklyn in an easy matchup against Washington than try to guess what's going on with Washington. Then we got the Houston Rockets and the Thunder. I'm already taking the Thunder money line. I'm already taking Jabari Smith Jr. You know my thoughts on this game. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we already talked a bunch about it. If you missed that, Shea's not playing, J-Dub's not playing. We're taking Houston on the money line, and they're underdogs here in this situation for some odd reason. We got them at plus 146. Dallas and San Antonio. Marvin Bagley potentially could play for this team. He could split minutes with a guy like Daniel Gafford. We'll see about that. Marvin Bagley was a Wizard before the trade deadline, just got traded there, along with Chris Middleton, who is doubtful to play. Kyrie still, doubtful here too. A couple other guys, Brandon Williams, guys like Tyus Jones, they're probable. I wish I could see the projected minutes for this team, but what we do know is Max Christie's been getting a lot of time. PJ Washington will get a lot of time. Najee Marshall and Cooper Flagg has the absolute keys to this organization now. He has been hooping. Difficult matchup here against the Spurs, but he's done it in difficult matchups time and time again. So Cooper Flagg's lines are going to start creeping up and up. So he's bound to not get there at some point, but he is cooking. He's got a difficult matchup here. San Antonio Spurs, we want to know if Fox is playing. Wemby's going to be out there. Harrison Barnes, Champagnie, I was looking at his rebounds line a little bit. A couple good spots for him. Wemby did play these guys. These guys, they just played, 2 days ago. So it's kind of like a back-to-back set, but they had a day off in between. So we just saw this team go up against the same team, and Wemby had a really good game. It's the only thing I'll point out there. I would like to see if Fox is going to play in that thing or not. Utah and Orlando. Utah's in full tank mode. Lauri Markkanen, he's not going to see much time, it seems like. Keontae George might be back in this lineup, so just keep that in mind. And a guy like Isaiah Collier, if Keontae George plays, I doubt he sees 48 minutes in this game like he has the past 2 games. But if Keontae George doesn't play, I wouldn't be surprised if Isaiah Collier gets the 48 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. We've seen Ace Bailey get a ton of time. This could be a spot to attack him. But the Utah Jazz do not want to win games. It's because of their pick. It's something that was mentioned to me in the comment section, and actually something I read right after I made the video. But the Utah Jazz pick for this season is top 1 through 8 protected, meaning if it falls between 1 through 8, meaning they're very bad, they will retain their pick. If it falls falls outside of the top 8, then the OKC Thunder get their pick. So they're going to want to be bad is essentially what it comes down to. So they're not going to play Lauri Markkanen that much. I'd like to see how much Jaren Jackson Jr. plays as well, who is slotted to play and make his debut for the Jazz. Could be very interesting. And then for the Magic side of things, I really want to attack Paolo Banchero's rebounds and assist line because Jaren Jackson Jr. is a pretty dang good defender, and Paolo has been rebounding, assisting much better without a guy like Franz Wagner. This is also a very good matchup, historically this season for them to get rebounds and assists. I'm not going to go to it, though, because Jalen Suggs' arrival and getting more minutes, he does handle the ball a little bit more and assists a decent amount more. Same with Anthony Black. And at the same time, this Jazz defense that's been really bad all year, maybe it looks a little bit different with a, former defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson Jr. around. So I'm going to stay away from that Paolo pick for now, but something to be, look forward to. Maybe you attack the guards like a Suggs or Anthony Black in a weaker, backcourt defensive scheme for the Jazz. Charlotte and Atlanta, geez, there's so many games here. I'm going to start going a little bit quicker. Kobe White is going to be out with that calf injury. He is not going to make his debut for Charlotte. We know what the starting lineup looks like. Diabate is definitely getting more minutes than Kalkbrenner. This could be a fun game. Charlotte Hornets are cooking as of late, and they get the Atlanta Hawks. Charlotte is 2-point favorites on the road here. Atlanta, Onyeka Okongwu, he's missed a few games here in and out of the lineup. Jalen Johnson's been a stud. He's kind of back to what he was earlier on in the year. Dyson Daniels, defensive menace. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been a bucket this year. We know what these guys can do. Again, project minutes would be nice to look at, but a lot of these guys are going to get the majority of the minutes. And then you're going to see Gabe Vincent and Jonathan Kuminga, 2 guys they just recently traded for. I doubt either of them played. Kuminga's the biggest guy that would actually take a lot of minutes, but he's not going to play. Just something to look forward to in the future if Kuminga does play this season. Denver and Chicago, we talked a lot about this game. Jokic is going to be questionable. He's the main guy we're attacking in this one. Jalen Smith on Chicago Bulls side of things is questionable, and he's the biggest guy out there for them. No Josh Giddey, no Trey Jones. The point guard situation is now turned into Anthony Simons and Jaden Ivey. Very, very different looking team. They're going to have to mesh well together, which is another reason I like the Jokic rebounds line. But that's how I'm going to it. If Jokic doesn't play, Jamal Murray's been an absolute stud, and I don't see any sort of defensive pressure from the Chicago Bulls team looking at their roster. Golden State and the Lakers. Big Golden State, obviously, injury list here. Steph Curry's out. Seth Curry's out. Porzingis, new acquisition for them. He's not going to play. And, of course, Jimmy Butler's out for the season. So this is what we got going on. Brandon Bajemski, I'd like to see play. I was looking at his rebounds and assists. He only played 12 minutes last game, but he is a good rebounder. I keep saying this, and I want to attack it. His line's at 7.5 for his rebounds and assists. I would look into it, but the hit rate's just not there for me yet to go and pull the trigger. Just something to think about. And then a guy like Moses Moody has been, ball in the basket pretty much ever since Steph Curry's been out. He gets a lot more volume here. And a guy like Pat Spencer, very good game last time he played. He could see a whole lot more run. I'd like to see, again, the projected minutes here, but I just don't have it yet. Austin Reeves and the Lakers. No Luka Doncic here. Austin Reeves kind of thrown back into the fire. Probably was going to get his minutes slowly crept back up, but he played 25 minutes last game and he had like 33 points. So he looks pretty dang good. I'll see if his minutes start over 25 minutes maybe here tonight, maybe like a 28-minute mark, but I don't expect him to play 35. But I don't know. I've seen crazier things happen. A guy like Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, probably not going to look at him. I was looking at Rui Hachimura's points line, which is at 11.5. He's someone I'm interested in, but there's a couple other guys off the bench that can outplay him. And then Rui Hachimura gets like 15 minutes as opposed to his 30 minutes that you might expect. But I think Rui is definitely a good spot to look for the Lakers. He's been really good without Luka this season. He just gets more time, more shots, more opportunity. And I like him today if I was going to attack a bench player for the Lakers. 3 more games. Philly and Phoenix is going to be a game. Devin Booker's a question mark, so I'm not looking at this team. But a guy like Gillespie's been diming up. Dylan Brooks has been getting a ton of volume. And Mark Williams has not been great, except for that one game where I said, hey, I'll look at it as over. And he actually did go over in that one. But I want to know if Booker's playing, and I just don't know yet. Same with Joel Embiid for Tyrese Maxey. I was looking at his under here. I'd like to see Embiid play if that happens, but even so, Tyrese Maxey's under. I think it's 26.5 points right now. Looks pretty dang good. Very, very tough matchup for him here. And he has not been as involved in the offense. It's really been Joel Embiid's team again the past 2 weeks or so. So I'd like to see if Embiid plays. No, Paul George definitely gives a boost to a guy like Kelly Oubre. We attacked VJ Edgecombe's rebounds the other day. A lot of guys are going to get a boost here without Paul George, so something to look at for the Philly side of things. But tough defense here for Phoenix. Memphis and Portland, we talked about Memphis, and we talked about Portland. Clingan, biggest body out there, hopefully goes out there and dominates in the back-to-back set. Hopefully no super blowout. Hopefully Clingan gets his 28 to 30 minutes, which I'm expecting, and he can go out there and absolutely body Santi Aldama's skinny 215-pound frame, even though the dude's 6'11". No one's going to be able to match up to his size. Even the guys off the bench, who was it, Taylor Hendricks or something coming in, he's not even that big of a guy. So I'm liking Donovan Clingan in this matchup. Question marks everywhere, but Clingan should be out there and ready to go. Finally, Cleveland and Sacramento. Obviously, we want to see if James Harden's going to make his debut. That's going to cut into some other guys' minutes, but this Cleveland team will be interesting. I want to see how well they play together and how they mesh together. James Harden has played with other ball-dominant point guards, like a guy like Chris Paul, like a guy like Russell Westbrook, and they played pretty dang well together. Harden, he gets a lot of hate for switching teams all the time, but he's never missed the playoffs, and he's not going to miss the playoffs this year. He's going up against the Kings, who are a poverty franchise. This team looks horrible. The Sacramento Kings played yesterday. Zach LaVine, just take his under. I mean, his points line's been at like 20.5 forever. I don't know what it's at right now, but he's literally scoring like 5, 6, 10 points. Not looking very good in Cleveland. I mean, they could crush these guys. 12.5 or 12-point spread. Sacramento on a back-to-back. They might not even see everyone play. DeAndre Hunter went to the locker room today. If you're a Sacramento fan, I feel bad for you. But that's it for me. I'm out of breath. 10-game slate. Did I even mention that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10-game slate. I've got 5 units down. Very pumped about the picks. Very pumped about the day. Getting this thing out nice and early. You can attack the early slate if you want. We attack the early slate. We attack the later slate. It's all right here in the recap. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Now, Sunday is the Super Bowl, and I've got to figure out what I want to do because it is my lovely girlfriend's birthday weekend because her birthday is on the week. So we're going to celebrate it tomorrow. So I don't know if I'll be able to make a video for the Super Bowl and or for Sunday's games. We'll see what happens. It's not a very big slate anyway on Sunday. But let me know if you want Super Bowl picks. Maybe I'll figure out a way to do it. Because obviously we want to be watching that. But I'm also a Patriots fan, and my bias might come into play. But I doubt it. I don't. I'm usually pretty good at that. But yeah, it's very late. I'm sorry for that. The video is coming out much earlier than usual, but again, gives you guys more opportunity to see it before the games happen. Hopefully nothing moves like crazy in terms of the lines. And I got nothing else for you guys. It's not my typical format, by the way. If you're new around here, I'm not usually chilling and bumbling around. It's a little bit more professional. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys. And I'm excited about the slate. 5 units down. I'll see you in the comment section. Peace out.